I also really like this Swiss format. So for the people that don't know what Swiss is, if I'm understanding it correctly, everyone will play against one another of the same amount of wins and losses. So everyone starts at 0-0. The moment you win, you go 1-0, and you will play against anyone else that also has 1-0. And anyone that loses will be 0-1, and also play against someone else that is 0-1. So at some point, you have people playing that are like 4-0 against other people that are 4-0, and also 0-4 against people that are 0-4. So we go from, I think, 60 people down all the way to 6 people is what we're looking for. So Yan Hongbang, Tian Langban makes a lot of sense. We do see Vantan on the field. Vantan, very common as well. No Pinkroyd. I think Pinkroyd did not apply. Ababo is already qualified right away. A pretty typical team from the side of Sappy. Also does make a lot of sense that you're banning that Tian Lang if you're going for that much attack bar gains. Because that's pretty much just full-on attack bar gain. But let's see if we are starting for a full-on speed race on this. Or if Sambisep is going to go more for turn 2. Ooh, okay, bit of both, bit of both. I do know he has a crazy good Maximilian. And also that Hey Gang is definitely nice. Layla could throw in some difficulties for that. That is definitely an option. Let's see, Sonya, good pick as well. Could be one of those things where all of the units on the side of Sambisep are death traps. I really like the Abellio. Abellio is really nice. So what could you do right now? There is an option where you leave the enemy with only 1 speed lead. That is definitely an option you could play for. Or you could leave them without any speed lead, banning the Megumi. But I do really like that Abellio play right there. Valeska. Ooh, Valeska is always super, super dangerous. So the moment we go into the ban, I just put this thing in screen. Okay, now you guys cannot see the ban. I think that is most fair because otherwise I would be able to see the ban from one side towards the other. So during the ban, I'm just doing this every time. And also just to be safe, if I'm spectating you and you see me on that, just ban in the last second. Like that's always a safe ban over there. But definitely 2 very strong options right there. Okay, bans are through. We have the Abellio ban, does make a lot of sense. On the other side, we have Sonya ban. Ooh, that could mean insta-death for the Maximilian. But then again, Valeska could insta-kill the Sonya as well. So let's see. Is that a death trap? It is not a death trap. But how much damage? Ooh, not that much damage though. I was expecting a little bit more damage. Now the Valeska does not get stunned, however. Okay, doesn't go for any skills as of yet. More does not take out the Sonya. That's kind of what you would like to see on this point. More taking out the Sonya. Still, if you would go for an S1, you would give actual bar to that. In this case, do you expect your... No, you have to hit the Megumi, I guess. Do you go for a hit on the Megumi? Oh, no. Was not expecting his Heigang S2 to actually take it out. Safe way on that, then. That's fine, that's fine. S2 glancings. Does get 2 glancings. Doesn't get the wrong element glancing. So all eyes are on the Valeska right now. Valeska is mostly 100 res. These things are most likely not interesting that you don't go for the S2. Not sure why he waited with the S2 over there, though. Wait, I think I can check cooldowns as well. Is it possible? And battle effects buffs, debuffs. Oh, I thought I could see when people had cooldowns as well. Apparently not. Well, I can see a Valeska still winning. Okay, maybe he was keeping this for the silence. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, I guess. The additional turn, that makes it very deadly. More has to do an insane amount of work. So definitely 2 really good drafts in 4 and 5 for Sappy over here at the top side. Can you make it a little wider? Wait, how do you mean a little wider? I think everything is on screen, right? Yeah, should be. But yeah, I think that Sappy is gonna take over this match. It is a full best of 3 though, so we do have comeback potentials over here. But this match is very, very over. Smart 2, 4 and 5 pick on the side of Sappy. Oh wait, let me also remove this countdown timer. No longer need that. Pre-bans, what are we doing? Layla ban and the Assure ban. Okay, first picks. What do we have? Do we start stealing Ventons? We do start stealing Ventons. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Zhongshan Lauer plus the Inosuke over there. It is an okay counter to go for, what's it called, the Fire Robo, but it's also one of those things I'm not sure if you really do want to do that. I've tried it a few times myself, but it's a dangerous thing to do. Okay, we're still going to go for speed contesting. That's an early Triton. I'm not sure if I'm liking this Triton that early, because you can just go for Megumi. Yep, Megumi was inevitable that it was going to come out. Speed contested plus Megumi. Ooh, good picks by Sappy right there. Let's see what we do have for the counter. We do have the Tianlang for the counter right now. Tianlang is not crazy good into the Zhongchen Lao, but it is really good into the other three, I would say. However, you could decide with the... Okay, that's our 33 lead over there. Solid lead. I'm not sure if you still want to speed race that. Ooh, he's actually going to go for the double up on that. Interesting style, interesting style. So what are you going to do? We got 2 speed leads apiece. We got 1 speed contesting unit. Back to the Abelio. Abelio makes a lot of sense. Do we up? Wait. Well, didn't show just yet. Have to be more on point with that one. Have to be more on point with that one. But once again, strong drafts, both sides. But yeah, what kind of style? Well, that's the thing. I can't really talk about the ban when I have this thing hovered on it, because you guys don't see any ban going in, which is a little bit awkward. Sonya ban, Megumi ban, so we do have Megumi not interrupting any of that. We will have a rotation of... Well, big question is also, is Yeonhong faster? Or is it going... Yeah, ooh, nope, we have the Triton faster. Triton, not a great Triton right there. But then again, you can only push back 1 unit on this as well. You could potentially stun this. But the Abelio you did not land on. Okay, gonna go for pushback on that one. Does make a lot of sense. Because that one provides the immunity. Okay. We have Vanton moving first, so we can drop silences before. That's good. Can we land all silences? Do land all silences. We go for the S3. That's so much damage. I told you, man, this guy has an insane Maximilian. Holy. That was just nuking units down. Wow, that was simply a lot of damage. I don't think he can really recover from that because, yep, very solid draft by Sambisep right there. Sappy knows. Damn, that was some, like, if you get the combo off, that hurts. Maxi is broken, holy. Benny, go away. But yeah, very solid play by Sambisep right there. Absolutely solid play. Crit damage Maxi, a thing? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a crit damage 4. I think best build on Maximilian is accuracy in the 6, crit damage in the 4. I definitely do think that's absolutely best way to play it, because that's just where you get most amount of damage from these kind of units. And I do know that Sambisep is pretty much focusing one of his best sets towards that Maximilian, so therefore he does do an insane amount of damage. And he did have branding. He really likes to go for Vanton into the Maximilian and not the other way around. Which I would say I agree with, because Vanton doesn't care that much about death breaks because he's not crit focused, whereas Maximilian does have a lot of value if he gets the death break plus already branding on the field. Yeah, I also have mine built on Swift, because I cannot build this kind of stuff on Violent. Like, that's where my rune quality at some point says, like, you ruined enough stuff? Let's calm down. Who's the player with the most amount of LDs, you would say? Ooh, hard to say in this lineup. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, once again, the Vanton, Tianlang being off the field. Tianlang has not been drafted in the previous round where it was available. Zhongchenlao was. You sure about Ek? Ek is still really nice. Well, if you spam Zhongchenlao, I would say Ek. If you only pick it 5th pick, then you could get away with no Ek. That's actually true. Okay, Moore and the Asher once again. Is this first game? This is first round. So it is a best of 3. Okay, going in for Gianna. I don't think that Sambisep really cares about Gianna that much unless it's some kind of weird trap Gianna. Wait, Glorious, are you playing or not? Okay, Pater. Yep, that is exactly what I thought. Pater super strong. Okay, once again Sonya, but Sonya seated on only 1 speed lead. You could go for Triton right now, but big issue is if you go Triton right now, your Pater is kind of in an... Or you're gonna get banned on your Maxi and you're gonna lack damage, right? That is definitely a dangerous thing. So I'm not sure if Peter is the right call. Shio is also a little bit off. Taking his time for his last pick. We're gonna go for Robo. Ooh, interesting one right there. So there's one speed lead on the right side of Sappy. Well, this is your guys' right side. There's also the Sonya. We did already establish the fact that Maximilian does die to the Sonya. So that is definitely a dangerous one to keep in. However, if you ban the speed lead and you are a lot faster, would that maybe be the play that it then works? That is the big question. Well, what do we have for the bans? We got a Maximilian ban and we got a Sonya ban. Which does mean that I think I really like the draft of Sambisep over here. It really depends a bit on what procs out potentially, because Robo would definitely take... Robo was actually moving in front regardless, so Swift Robo for sure. But that also does mean it is a violent Gianna, and if Peter moves in front of the Gianna, it's always a little bit awkward. So can we strip that? We do strip all. That is actually a dispair on the more, so therefore we did not get any Vios as of last time. Do right away go for an S3. That is kind of the issue. If the Gianna procs out right now, you might have a pretty bad match. If you don't stun the Oliver, that's totally fine in this case. You would actually like the Oliver to proc in this moment. Can we take out the Gianna? Not taking out the Gianna, that's actually a wasted additional turn, because you way rather saw that additional turn on the Gianna, because the Peter is currently in the bear form. In the bear form, it doesn't do as much. Gianna, ooh, the double additional turner. The double additional turner right there. That is really rough. That is absolutely really rough right there. Why are you jinxing? Hey, it happens, man. It happens. Yep, that's a rough matchup right there. I think it's GG from there, but that's just unlucky. Both of them taking additional turn, that's unlucky. E-sported. Yep, that's a rough one right there. That is definitely a rough one right there. Well, Sambisep is not out just yet, but I definitely would say this draft was absolutely in the favor of Sambisep. That was a well-drafted one over there, but sometimes the game says, no, not today, not today. Strategy to sack, yep. So who faces who now? This is Sappy against Sambisep. Jasu Startic, that's gotta be a good one. Startic has some cool LDs as well. Yep. Ooh. Okay, Startic actually playing very low LD. I expected him to play more heavy LD. Last pick. What do we have on all of those? It is almost the option where you would say a Juno would do good, but I do think Startic has enough damage to deal with a Juno as well. Vertibird. Okay. Vertibird added for the last pick. We got Childers with a raid. Thank you very much, my man. Okay, just hiding the screen for the ban real quick. Waiting until the bans are in. We do have Jasu with a Tianlang plus a Vert on the field, which is kind of awkward, but it does make sense of what you're playing against. We got a 24 lead on the side of Jasu, 28 lead on the side of Startic. Shio does take first turn. Can you stun? Does get a relatively late stun, but did get the stun nevertheless. Question is right now, do you stun Tianlang or do you stun Sierra? I think you got to stun Sierra, okay? Was more afraid for that. Do you send the S2 right now? If you send the S2 and you do get countered, okay, did not get countered right there, you have to pray for despair stun on this Vert. If you despair stun this Vert, you're in a good... Ooh! Okay, I'm cast the cursing way too much. I'm cast the cursing way too much over here. Oh, that's a nasty one right there. Ooh, the Tianlang though, additional turn. Not too much damage from the Tianlang, but still it adds up. Armor break, resisted. Question is right now, Chakra after turn 1 doesn't provide all too much unless you get more stuns. Wait, do we have skills? We have skills available. That could be a lot of damage. Branding already applied. Also, this Vert is hella chilling. This Vert is like, I'm not participating in this fight. Oh, hell no. Yeah, I think that this is kind of over. Rip Phantom next patch. Yeah, Phantom is just super deadly still. S2 is available this time. Do you send it on the Vert? I think I would send it on the Vert. Push back and everything would be nice. Yeah. Oh, that's first time the Vert counters. He was being stunned. Yo. Yo, that's nasty. The only time he revenge was stunned by the wind unit. Oh, I did not see that one, but so 2 times he wanted to go for a revenge, both of the times on the stun potential right there. But also, Vert next to your Tianlang, it is a little bit awkward though, because you would still only give yourself like 20 bar. 20 bar would be enough to cut in the first turn rotation, but in later side of the match, it's not that interesting. But also interesting to see Startic actually has a very high LD box. He does have, I think, the Zhongsheng Lao. He does have the Light Gojo. He does have Laura. He actually drafted full non-LD right there in that draft, but it did work out very well. Good placed Ethna. It's also, Ethna is still super strong because of Shio being that strong. Let's see what we're looking at for pre-bans. Tianlanger on the pre-ban, other side Vantan on the pre-ban. So Jasu is playing the game. Oh no, wait, actually, no, wait. Jasu has first pick. So if you're having first pick, you can leave Vantan in, because then you can pick it yourself. But Jasu is not planning to pick it itself. Megumi first pick, okay. Are we gonna go right away for Startic into a Gojo? I think he's denying the Shiho right now, because Megumi Shio is one of the stronger combos for openers, because it's very all-round. But let's see what kind of speed lead. You could go for Sierra speed lead. No, actually, right away for the Layla. No speed lead on the side of Startic just yet. Jasu, what do we like to pair with all of that? Does have the 33 lead in silver, but I think he likes to pair that with his Shio itself. Interesting picks, though. I'm not sure if I really like the Woosa in this position. Woosa is definitely not a bad unit, but I like Woosa more in a combination with a Wind Monkey and a Fire Paul. Not as much with a Megumi. Startic, what do we counter? You could go into the Gojo, but if you go Gojo right now, it is more or less like kind of aiming for that ban on the Megumi. Okay, we're gonna go full on AoE. Seimei as a counter pick. Seimei is definitely a nasty counter pick into all of those debuffs, but I could see a role that something just simply does too much damage and Seimei healing could not come off. Did Obabo win? Obabo did not play, but he already qualified. So yes, he did win, technically. Last pick from the side of Jasu. Do we contest another speed lead? I could see a world where you just simply go for Sonya. Okay, we're going hard on the anti-debuff style with a Tetra in there. Tetra Seimei combination is actually pretty annoying. Only thing I could see is that Jasu might be a little bit low on the side of damage. Miles, really? Miles? Not really a unit I was thinking of myself though, but I was thinking more something along the lines of pushbacks, ban out the Bayek. Or even something kind of random-ish, such as like a Chow. So hiding the bans real quick. Bans are in. We got a Miles respect, actually. Okay, interesting, interesting. Ooh, I think that's... The real big question is, how strong is the opener of Startic over here? Because you can go for a stun on the Megumi. Oh, no stun on the Megumi. Few resistance kicking in right there. So did not work out right there. Also, Gojo not being a good Gojo over there. Getting resisted in its own regard, but we do have that stun seated at the Layla. Yeah, it is definitely looking pretty rough right now. Additional turn and the timing, you did not really want that neither. Well, you still have to take care of this Layla. Let's go for the S3. Does send it on the Monkey though. Layla still has skills available. Layla could still go for strips. No death break landed on any of those units though. Probably will go for heal. That's a nasty heal. But Layla still has skills available, which could be pretty bad. Because if you land this into landing... Ooh, did not strip as much as Startic would have liked to see. Still goes for the clouds. Does make sense because Layla will get extra bar from it. Ooh, the additional turner on the Megumi though. Does have the Ego available. Does stun a Gojo. Not sure if the Gojo... Ooh, stun in its own regard as well. Okay. Ooh, nasty additional turn over there. Gets the cleansing. However, we do have the S2 available. Goes for an S1 regardless. Interesting. Wait, did he do S2 in the previous round? Like, if he has S2 available, you should definitely be doing that at that moment. You would rotate back into it anyways. The additional turn right there, but is silence. Couldn't really utilize that much. That's a bad additional turn because the skill 3 is available. Do we get a death break? This Bayek is inting death break on the very final hit right there. Now, big question is, now he goes for this skill. He had the skill 3 available in that rotation, but I think he was waiting for just more targets to land on. Could that be 100 res Woosa? It is definitely an option. You could go for 100 res Woosa on this. But the Megumi has to start doing a lot of work right now. Alter Ego coming in. Good damage, good damage. Sleep Roll element into additional turn, taking out a unit. Ooh, that is the L nasty right there. That is just simply so much work from this Woosa coming in. Woosa is definitely making a comeback in the meta, and that's actually what we have seen throughout the last few weeks. Phantom is slightly getting worse in meta because people are looking towards different counters, such as, for example, that Woosa. And that is definitely one of those units where Phantom was seated at like a 54% win rate to even 55% win rate on a first pick scenario. It's actually getting lower and lower in win rate because people just, without a balance patch, are kind of finding the right counters to it. And I think that this is pretty GG from this moment, though. Because there's no way you go through the damage of... Well, you have 3 healers on the enemy side. That's just too much heal going in. Surely, oh, this Woosa, I can see the future trauma ban on this Woosa. Not gonna lie, trauma ban on this Woosa incoming real quick. Yep, this match is very over. So we go 1 apiece. Well, it definitely does, man. Okay, trauma ban on this Woosa, man. This thing, second time it procs into his Wish of Immortality as well. That's difficult. That is difficult right there. But yeah, that's definitely one of those things you do tend to see where Phantom gets slowly drifted out of meta, or not out of meta, but it's performing worse. It's seated at 51-ish win rate, simply because people find different answers to it. Let's see what we go for pre-bans this time around. Phantom is available. Maybe the Jasu is not a Phantom player himself that much. What is Startic gonna ban? Also, if you ban out Woosa, Woosa is probably a unit Startic doesn't play himself, so it's a clean ban. Actually go for Seimei ban. It's also still clean to ban out the LD on the opposing side. First pick for Startic, though. Does he go back to a Megumi? Megumi was stolen by first pick on the side of Jasu last time around. But do we go for that Megumi pick right there? No, we go for first pick. That will definitely lead into a Shio plus Megumi. Shio Megumi is, if you don't want to play Phantom, I would definitely say Shio Megumi is the strongest opener you can do. Into the Gojo plus the Ethna. Ethna's not great into a potential TL Lang and is not great into the Megumi. Into a segment. Back to the Tetra. Back to the Woosa. Okay. Let's see what kind of answer we do have on this. I could see a world where Chow is actually good. Like, not gonna lie. Juno Chow, it might be that you get out healed / out damaged, but Juno Chow, I wouldn't be against it. It is not the best of matchups, but it is pretty solid of a matchup, I would say. Because neither of these two is good to be CC'd, and you have some fair bit of CC on the other side. Going for Josephine, I'm not too sure about Josephine. Because sure, you have 2 stuns on the left side, but you also have resets. Bayek coming in. I think that's gonna be looking towards a Bayek ban. Abellio coming in. I would definitely ban off that Abellio. I think Abellio has too much damage to deal with. Okay, we have the bans coming in very quickly. We got an Ethna ban and we got an Abellio ban. Let's see if this Josephine is going to be doing a good Josephine. If the Josephine has the right RNG, Josephine was the right draft. Otherwise, I would have said that a Chow probably does do better. First turn towards the Shiho. Can we get stuns? We do not get a single stun, so maybe you have to put the reset towards the Gojo then as well. Also resisted. Uh-oh. Well, there's this awkward thing where I really feel like that this Woosa is 100 res, man. This Gojo is not landing on this Woosa. What? Josephine is the RNG. He brings in the RNG, man. He used 3 skills on this Phantom, and the Phantom is still having skills. Okay? In its own regard, that unit didn't land as much neither. Phantom is probably gonna say goodbye pretty soon, but I could see the other units still clean up. It would have been nice if the Juno did strip more. Segments, don't think you would send the S2. Okay, we're gonna go for steal over there. So that is 2 debuffs stolen. But this Woosa is like a god Woosa for the amount of things it's landing. Can we get the stun? Doesn't get the stun over there. Do you go for the extra damage? Does go for the extra damage. Additional turn once again. Man, on one part, all of the units from Jasu are inting as hell. On the other part, the units from Jasu are landing everything. It's a good 50-50 on both of that stuff going on. Okay, no skills available on this hit, though. Can you take out? Does take it out. Ooh, okay. Can you get the stun finally on this Gojo? Gojo has the S1 available, but... Or S2 available, but Woosa does have skills available. Well, you would go back into Juno's skills soon as well. Okay. I'm not too sure about the Death Break over there. Are you planning to try to insta-kill that? That is going to be... Ooh, he landed every heal block possible. But the heal block is procced away by this Josephine right there. Josephine brings in the RNG. Can you land that? Does land it for just one turn. Do you go for the Wish of Immortality? Do you go for healing? What's the plan? Healing it is. Counter it is. Full heal from this Juno. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Juno targeting from Jasu right there earlier. Reset. Good timing. Oh, but it's still fast enough. You have the Wish of Immortality right now, but I think Juno wins from here. I did not actually check. Is this Juno Vamp or is this Juno Despair? It is getting more and more common to have Vamp Junos, because Vamp Junos is just really good in current meta. Against the Laylas and all of that kind of stuff, I would have probably saved that skill right there. No, it is a Despair one. But it will be very hard to win from here, because neither, like, sure, Woosa S2 has good damage, but Juno S1 just fairly hard counters that. Plus, it's Gojo seeded at good artifacts as well. Same for the Juno. Juno doing 2.3s without speed buff is good numbers. Yep, we got Startic with the victory right there. Very well played, very well played. Ismo against Inac. Yes, sir. You must be a player and a caster, bro. Yeah, that's not possible. We got a Nyx ban and we got a Gojo ban. That's very early chow right there. Those are also some heavy LD lineups. It's also fun fact. Inac is stealing the both LDs that Ismo does have. Ismo does not have a light Gojo, right? Why is Inac banning Ismo's light Gojo? He does not have a light Gojo. Unless Ismo's not telling me some shit. Well, Ismo's a good old sacker, though. He has a lot of good LDs, but he doesn't have that one as far as I know. Definitely on strong style of Inac right there. Let's see what the answer is from Ismo. You also scroll back to this thing for the height of the ban later on. Ismo's every LD. Ismo has a lot. Good Nobara. Good Nobara. Liking that. If Nobara into a healer such as Yeon Hong is a little bit more dangerous because that's a full HP heal. Also with the Annabelle. I think Nobara is better into teams that don't have any healing. But let's see what he would like to pair with that. Light Pony. Ooh, not sure if I'm liking the draft from Ismo that much. You could definitely still win on Ismo rune quality kind of style, but I'm not sure if I'm liking the draft that much. Like, pick 4 and 5 feel a little bit too much protective, but let's see what Inac can make for a good last pick. Question is also, does he want to steamroll turn 1? He could definitely, if he makes a good last pick, he has a good option for that, but what is a good last pick? He goes for Lima. I'm not too sure about a Lima last pick as well. Also, the side of the strips of Ismo is not that much, so Lima could be decent because there's no, or not that much strips, but I would have rather seen a Woosa than a Lima on the side of Inac in that case. Because of the counter to the Venthan. We got a Nobara respect and we got a Lima respect actually coming in, okay. Attack lead and a speed lead. Does not opt to go for res lead. I would almost opt to go res lead over the attack lead in this case. Geo taking turn 1. Are we gonna go for a potential stun right away? Goes for stun, does land the stun. Awkward thing is right now, the whole team of Ismo moves, but there's not more than this on strip, so you have to make sure you kill things. You could potentially kill the Yeon Hong. That additional turn will help out. But Gianna will take its turn. Right now, do you go... You kind of, with this amount of damage, you kind of want to drop this bomb on the Layla, but is that the right play, though? If you cannot kill the Layla, yeah, I think it is still the right play. But I can see a world where Inac would take over. Also, 2 additional turns on the side of Ismo, so we have the maximum chance of additional turns on the side of Inac right now as well. Gianna's about to move. Okay, we do go for the transform. We're definitely not using the S2. Trying S1, resist on that. Gianna, are you a good Gianna? Gianna, can you stun? Critical error does stun not everyone. Ooh, no stun on the Phantom. That's actually really big. Additional turn is nice though, but a stun on the Phantom would have been way better actually. Plus, Gianna lands stuff, so therefore the Layla will take its turn right away. But you can go for skill 3 right now, but since there's no stun on the Phantom, going for skill 3 is a little bit more dangerous. Still sense it though. Does get the additional turn as well, so everything that could additional turn did additional turn thus far pretty much. No silence coming in. Good damage coming in over there. Vandan did already use its skill. It's one turn away from getting skills back, I think. Okay, can we do enough damage to this Sierra, though? I think that Sierra would take it away. Do we land everything? Does... Oh, man, there's so much additional turns flying back and forth. I love that Pony didn't do anything in there. Like, that's why I was saying, like, the Pony draft in there did not really utilize anything in this... or the Pony in that matchup did not really do anything. Big stun on this Annabelle. Yeah, I think that this is match. Mainly because I would say I did like this draft of Inac more, but it was mainly that if the Phantom was stunned, Phantom would have also been slowed, and then that would have been really bad for Ismo. So I would say draft-wise, I like the draft of Inac more. But it was a close matchup. Also a lot of Vios both sides. Well, that is a 1-0 to Ismo. So basically comes down to buff Gianna. Well, the thing is, that was just a resistance check, so a buff Gianna doesn't really change anything. Unless Gianna becomes like a Tiana and gets a guaranteed land, but they don't like that kind of stuff in Summoners War anyways. Buffer anyways. Scribble, you don't have her yet, man. You don't need a Gianna more buffed. So many Germans in there were the fellow Dutchies. Sambisep is playing, and outside of that, I'm not sure if more Dutch people are playing. Okay, Vanton on the ban. Interesting, Inac does have first pick, but he decides to still ban out Vanton. Layla ban is definitely understandable. Inac, what do you go? Gianna on the first pick. Was the unit that kind of entered your last match, but it was a good attempt if it did land everything. Besides Obabo, anyone who's qualified already? Yeah, Obabo qualified, Scribble qualified, Bafix qualified, Rax is qualified, Guts qualified, and Tito qualified. Those 6 were already in right away. Locking in the Annabelle and the Bayek. I do know Ismo has a crazy good Bayek if he puts his good runes to it. I've seen the stats on that thing. That thing crazy fast while still having crit damage on the 4 and high crit rate. Thanks for the primer, Mr. Z Intonation. Highly appreciate on that. Why are you not playing yourself? Because I'm casting. Marsha. Marsha's an interesting one on all of this. Josephine. Chow. Good Chow pick. I like the Chow pick over here. Chow has a lot of value in this draft. Because Chow is hard to deal with. Cast and play. I cannot cast and play at the same time. They don't allow me to. Which makes a lot of sense. But I would say this draft of Ismo looks a lot stronger. I'm not too sure about the Josephine and the Marsha in the 4 and 5 of Inac. Chow is a ban, understandable. But yeah, the Marsha will have... It has a good potential to kill Sierras, but outside of that, not that much. Yan Hong on the first turn. Good damage over there. Has potential to get something stunned, but Annabelle seated in the right position for the counterplay. So stunning anything does not have any value. Unless you stun that, but that is 100 res wrong element, which is a hard thing to do in the first place. Bayek, do we clap this? Ooh, we're gonna go for an S2. Okay, makes sense. Did not get the silence though. Still good damage. Oh, this Megumi is not doing it. This Megumi is not doing it. Josephine, can you land? Okay, wrong. Okay, 100 rest target right there. I'm not sure if this Josephine was max accuracy regardless. Where are we dropping potential bombs? Potential bomb was utilized and removed by this Nyx over there. The counterplay. Still have Girls Player up. The additional turn. Yeah, this Josephine does not really add that much to the field, because if bombs are not exploded, and not a random sleep is working, then nothing of those will do. Marsha's actually doing good work to try to take out this Sierra, though. But then again, we got Yan Hong with Charge Vitality, 4 HP, full attack bar, as if nothing ever happened. Yan Hong, Blade Fang, definitely will take it out. I think a skill 1 would have taken that out regardless, even if you miss crit. But he didn't want to go for the risky route. Also, I do think his Bayek has the S3 available pretty soon. One more turn. Oh, already has it. Yep, that would take it out. Good crits over there, and that is going to be GG. Ain't no way you come back from that. No way you pick an Artemil into... No way, Nefka. Stop showcasing your shitty LDs. Get those off the field and start drafting some actual stuff into the Shiho. Ooh, into a Layla. Interesting. Okay, Ismo goes doing the same. Yeah. Will off. It is fine, it is fine. The best part is that Ismo was doing this, I think, in like 2022 or 2023. No, I think it was 2023 in SWC. And he was showcasing so many LDs that he forgot what he actually wanted to pick, and he picked something stupid in his first pick. It's one of those things. Once again, putting a lot of faith in this Light Pony early. I do know that Neff really hates the Light Pony, but I think it is drafted a little bit too early. You know what would be a good pick right now? Geldnir. Stop showtime. Out there. I know both of you are watching, that's why you're doing like the fucking wheel off with the units. Narsha. Ooh, interesting. I haven't seen a Narsha competitive play on like a high rank in a while. I do know Neff has good runes, but it is definitely a hard unit to place in. We have that Vivachel plus Velasco on the side of Ismo. Ismo has a stacked box, man. He pulled in so many good LDs lately. We're gonna lock that in. We do lock it in. Neff, what is your final pick of choice? Not too sure what would really fit. You could go for water units, like an Annabelle or a Woosa. Ooh, I'm liking a Woosa. Woosa's a great pick right there. There's not too much strip on the side of Ismo. But then probably that Woosa is a must ban. But definitely a good find on that Woosa. I should rune up a Woosa myself again as well. It's a good light pick as well. But that Velasquez is always dangerous, man. The moment you kill anything, Velasquez is dangerous. Also, picking a Sierra into a light pony is bad odds, I would say, because that's where you get a lot of immunity in and that kind of stuff. But then again, Woosa with the ban and Velasquez on the respect ban. I do enjoy both of those bans. Well, it's definitely the question, how much can this Layla do and how much can this Narsha do? Can the Narsha actually take something out? Should you just summon your LDs before the collab? That's totally up to you. Okay, we do go for Layla first hits. Oh, that did not really land as much as you would like to see. Okay, we do have full team outspeeding. That's good. You could take out a unit right away. Oh, that resistance. Can you land this bomb? Does land the bomb. Should take it out, I think. By the sliver of health. No, the sliver of health. Uh-oh. That's a rip right there. I expected more bomb damage from that one. Yep, that's a big oof, and that's an insta-win for Ismo, pretty much. I think that Neff would have had a pretty decent match at it if he would have been able to kill it, but right now I think match is over. Also, the first land from the Layla was really rough. Plus, this is also a perfect scenario to go Song of Destiny. Switch of Destiny, whatever that thing is called. Yep, that's a big rip right there. Because this will make you lose 2 units, and the other 2 units are definitely not gonna clean up. He said, thanks for playing that, Narsha. Yep. People might say that is a Light Pony victory. Well, Light Pony didn't do anything in this matchup, in my opinion. Well, it could have maybe provided an anti-crit, and therefore the Phantom survived. But I expected this Sierra to do more damage, but this Sierra was more focused on tanky, I guess. Light Pony needs a buff. Well, Light Pony, the thing is with Light Pony is so RNG that if it wins because of Light Pony, it feels very frustrating and it feels super strong. But the thing is, all the times that you fight against the Light Pony and it doesn't RNG, you don't really notice it. only the Light Pony owner notices it. And then you feel like, yeah, the unit doesn't do that much. So there's a camp like that doesn't have her feeling that she's crazy OP. And then you have a camp that does own her and feel like she doesn't do that much. Hey gang on the ban. And we don't have a Gianna ban. That's an optimal scenario for Ismo right there to lock in his Gianna. So Nev has to remember that part. Also, both players do share Yeon Hong. Was not drafted for neither side last time around. Phantom this time around on the side of Nev. Rebuff Laura. I think Laura is fine after 16 million nerfs. Well, it took 60 million buffs to get Laura good, but now it took her 6 nerfs and she's still good. No way you lock in this in Terrace. I can make the argument for a Fire Robo, but an Terrace is a little bit far-fetched. That early on the Gianna is also not a necessity. It is an option though, but that's definitely the point where you will get nixed, 100%, yep. And Yeon Hong, yep, liking the style of Nev a little bit more than the early draft of Ismo thus far. NFL, does make sense. Do we go back into Light Pony? Light Pony doesn't seem that bad in current state, I would say. Vermos, a very strong take against that as well. Robo, okay. Do you go Robo Speed Lead? If you go Robo plus a more, would you have enough value out of all of that? Because you do know, Sonya, ooh, I'm loving that Sonya pick. If that is a good Sonya, yep, that's a great Sonya pick right there. The only issue is your Sonya's gonna fight against the Speed Lead. I'm not sure about that Nobara neither. Okay, the bans were in that crazy fast that it didn't even have to do anything right now. I'm not too sure if the Sonya would have taken anything out, because you are Sonya without lead against anything with lead. Where's the Woosa? Well, no Woosa into Gianna's. That makes a lot of sense. Yeon Hong will take first turn. After that, we actually do have this NFL moving. Big question right now. Boost up Robo or S2? That's always the Yeon Hong like issue, man. Do you want to go safe play or do you want to go the better play? But the better play might be a very unsafe play. Good damage rocking in right there. Robo, do we get 4 AoE stuns plus pushbacks? Stun, 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 and stun. Okay, if we get control right now with this, we did increase on the most two important one. The NFL's increased, Gianna's increased, so if those proc out, it's not that bad. If you do enough damage on this Sierra, match goes to Nev pretty much. Okay, didn't do anything, but also the proc would have had more RNG needed. Well, okay, we still have the silence seated over there because of that unit. But also because of that, the Vermosa doesn't have that much value to cleanse neither. Ooh, very strong Despair right there. Super, super strong Despair. Gianna does have skills available, but is silenced once again. Additional turn on that. Yeah, I think that Nev is definitely having this match. If Vero procs is lost, if Vero procs, yeah, then he could have landed the S2. I think Robo is back in cycle already for the S2, right? Yep, that's a lot of attack bar absorb once again. Great Robo play right there. Yeah, Phantom Nyx is super strong, but also very strong utilized by the other two units. Vermos could still be annoying. Oh no, wait. Phantom did also get an additional turn, so he's back in skills. GG's. Well played by Nev. Very good play by Nev. The Robo in the late pick was good. Also noticing that all of the units on the side of Ismo were relatively slow was a good utilization right there. I still think that Ismo should have banned out Yeon Hong, and then he probably had a better play in there. Because I don't think that Sonya would have been able to take out Gianna. We got the two annoying units being banned in Nyx and Light Pony. Early pick. Phantom is available. Phantom is the most contested unit in game pretty much. But both of the two players also do share Yeon Hong. So not sure if therefore Yeon Hong would be a contested pick. Nope, apparently it's not. Sierra, Yeon Hong on the other side is a good steal for the Sierra, because otherwise Sierra plus Gianna might end up on the side of Ismo. I would say pre-ban wise, Ismo had a very strong pre-ban where he banned Heigang and Gianna was not pre-banned in its own regard, which is mostly for Gianna play a really optimal position. But it did not work out because he went full on slow units. Oliver plus the Shiho. Good Heigang pick. Have to make sure that you keep in enough damage. We have seen before that there's not too much damage on this Sierra. Back to the Layla. Also did not perform that well in the last round. At least Light Pony cannot come out this time around. Do we go back to Valeska kind of turn 2 styles? VVHL is an option. Or you can just go speed contesting. You could go for another lead plus a Sonya. It is an option. Then the question is this Sierra a Death Trapper or not? Megumi, yep. Sonya, yep. Yep, that's what we do. That's what we do. I think that is a very nice 4 and 5 from Ismo. I think Triton would have been too much risk on the ban of the Heigang. Ooh, interesting one right there with the Josephine. This is actually Battle of the Titans. It definitely is. It definitely is. For gamblers, what do you mean? Not everyone is like that, Amo. But yeah, definitely good Sonya pick in the last, especially with the Megumi. I'm not too sure about the Josephine in the 5th from Neff, though. And we do have Josephine still being on the field. I feel like Neff might be a little bit low on damage. I have to mess this up 10 out of 10, you swear. Also, last season I was drafting a lot of Triton, and I started noticing drafting less Triton actually made things a lot better. Ooh, there's no will runes on this Yeon Hong, so Shio can go for a stun. Does give Josephine the turn, but at least it's not cleansed. I think this might be a really good potential for the Oliver to take over this whole match. Like, I'm not a big fan of this Josephine seated over here. Okay. You really have to land this on the Oliver. Did not land anything on that Oliver. Oliver has free reign on this match right now. I think match is pretty much over because of Oliver having free reign. Josephine could maybe do us something, but that's the thing. That looks like your Layla. Well, that's also definitely a Layla issue right there. Layla is an all or nothing unit. Like, either it performs the most crazy shit out there, or it does absolutely nothing, and there's nothing in between. Okay, there is glancing on it. Ismo taking some useless additional turns. Because you cannot go for the S2 on anyone, because Hey Gang's still on the field. That's just a boost of bar. I'm not sure if that's the right idea. Can you land this stun? Ooh, resisted. A glancing on that unit would have been really big. There is glancing on this Shiho right now. Okay, Josephine, can we stun? We have to stun this Oliver. Does not stun the Oliver. That's why the Josephine did not even activate. That's why I'm not a big Josephine fan. If that unit just simply does not activate, also this Megoomer is taking every additional turn known to mankind. And more than that. Crit rate Oliver, it seems. Whoa, Ismo, can you tune down your luck just a little bit? Give the man a chance. Give that man a chance, holy. Okay, at least we got to push back over there. Watch this Megoomer take another additional turn. I know he wants to. I know he wants to. Did not do it right there. But yeah, you can be at the point already where it is fine to start resetting the Josephine too. And then you can start landing your stuns again. Okay, glancing at least landed. But I think Josephine has too little higher. Are we looking at like 4 to 0 procs, or are we looking at more already? Ismo's units are all ruined on triple optimism, that's for sure. Crit through the glancing, yeah, that's GG. If Josephine had the kind of RNG that Ismo was showing, I could have seen him had a decent match. But even if we had like balanced fire, I think that Ismo would have had the upper hand in draft right there. LessDeadlySin, also G1 last season. Megumi on the first pick. Malignant back to that Pater. Woosa, okay. Is he playing like the Woosa Paul style? With like Shios and stuff? But Shio's not that great into Pater. Definitely taking his time right there. Miles? Into full dark units for Malignant over there with the Vivicha and the Zhongchang Lauer. Strong picks, strong picks. Back to a Josephine. We saw the Josephine not do that much for Neff, but maybe it does do more for LessDeadlySin right there. Ooh, Gideon. Okay, interesting. Definitely unit you don't see all too much, but it is strong. And the Vermos. Okay, taken away. Back to Josephine. I'm liking the style of LessDeadlySin. I could see it winning. Whatever Malignant puts in the 5th, I think that LessDeadlySin is planning to ban it. Yep, especially if it is a Diana. Wait, let me be on point with the logo for this. You don't like his style? I like the idea behind it. Do I actually like his style? Maybe not, but for the draft over here, his chance of winning, I like his chance of winning. Do I like his drafting style that much? It's a little bit different, but I would rather not face it, to be honest. Let's see what we have for bans. Bans are in. Vivichel ban, which does mean that Angela is still in. I am not sure if you have enough damage to outdamage an Angela. Also, HP lead? Are you really? Oh, he wants to outslow. Yeah, outslowing the Pater makes actually sense. Outslowing the Pater is actually a good strategy against the Pater, which makes Pater super awkward. That's also why I like Zinnesek way more than Pater. Because then you lose your protection and stuff. Okay, going for an S2. Don't think a full cycle would even kill this. Miss crit. Not a full crit rate on that monkey. Also, this wild blow doesn't do that much damage. Like, it's sure like a good 15k or something, but 17k, not bad, not bad. But yeah, that's definitely not in killing range just yet. Wish of Immortality coming in. We got cleanses. A little bit of a resist over there. But also, all of the strips, like this Woosa is going to be a bad issue right now for Malignant. Yep, that's also... And we got 2-turn provoke seated over there. Yep, that's pretty strong too. The only issue I can see is that... how are you going to deal with this Angela? Like, the Angela is too hard to deal with. I don't think you have enough damage. This match is going to come down to, like, very late scaling on a hopeful death break from... That's also a very high HP monkey. A little bit of additional turns does help. Okay, we're slowly chipping it down. Could send the S3. Decides against it. Go for the Moonlight Glaze. But yeah, this is the issue right now. Angela, 1 additional turn, full HP on that monkey. Like, you tried very hard on this monkey, but 1 additional turn, it's gone again. Especially with that additional turn seated over there. Could be coming back at you. No additional turn just yet. 5k healing is... I expected a little bit more than 5k healing from that. We have LessDeadlySin flowing on some additional turns right there. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Yep, that is going to be an S3. Summon the clothes. Good damage. Ooh. Good additional turn though, but this wild blow will take it out. Doesn't take it out. Massive shield from this Josephine right there. But this chip hit does take it out. Yep. Yeah, Angela picking the 5th was really strong from Malignant over here. Noticing that your enemy doesn't have too much damage output, a good old unit that just has great sustain really does counter it. Yeah, from here, there's no way you kill this. Even if you kill anything right now, the kill is not going to add that much because it's a finesse passive angle still. And I would say this Pater is dealing good damage. That's definitely a crit damage Pater. On some real good runes to also outspeed all of your other stuff. So if you focus that much good runes on the Pater, I can definitely see it work, yeah. And every time that shield, which you first have to break, then you can actually start dealing damage, which is also rough. Plus, every time you hit on the shield, you get a little bit of reflect damage too, which makes it hard. Another wild blow rotation. Plus, the healing on the side of LessDeadlySin isn't that high. Like, sure, Woosa S2 is good healing, but the turn for it to get it takes a little bit long compared to an Angela shielding and healing in every turn it does. So, a great Angela pick right there. Wait, what was the ban? Vivachel was the ban. I think I would have rather faced a Vivachel with the draft that, especially if you're under speeding, Vivachel would have actually been pretty bad on the field. I think he should have banned the Angela by a long shot. Because sure, the Vivachel could have had one good rotation off and maybe insta-killing something. But I think in most cases, if this Vivachel moved first, it would have never gotten to a good rotation. And then Vivachel's kind of a sitting duck, whereas now you couldn't get, for the life of you, you couldn't get any damage into this Angela. But definitely a longer match. 50 power up and 50 max HP up is not something you see too much these days. Well, then again, Josephine. Once again, Josephine not really doing its worth. Well, it was also a rough draft for the Josephine because Angela is a great counter into Josephine. Because, like, sure, you stun, sure, you provoke, but hey, cleanses are seated right there for whatever you hit it, especially if you only have single target hits. Let's see what we have for pre-ban this time around. Phantom was pre-banned last time. Nyx was pre-banned. Do we go for a respect on that Vivachel, or the Jian, or the Yan Hong, or the Zhongxin Lao? So many things you can ban for Malignant. Zhongxin Lao it is, Megoomer it is on the other side. Which does mean an opener for Malignant on the Phantom, I would say. Personally, I prefer Phantom over Zhongxin Lao. Ooh, no Ghost. Back to a Finesse, interesting. Very fast picks from LessDeadlySin on the Nyx plus a Woosa. Phantom still available both sides. Pater scaling on HP. Abellio scaling on defense and Pater scaling on HP. Also, Terranese is also scaling from defense. Back to the Pater. Not sure about a Pater into Nyx. But back to comfortable drafts is what it seems. Okay, I do understand the style from LessDeadlySin, yeah. With the Xing zhe, those kind of units. That also maybe makes the Vanessa a little bit more annoying, but because if you want to go Firepaw is really bad into a Vanessa. So that makes the understandability of that first pick a little bit more. To the Gideon. Strong picks throughout. What does Malignant like to answer on all of those? Gianna, definitely strong. No cleanses yet, except for that Nyx being annoying for not landing any debuffs. What do you like to pair that with, though? Some snipe like a Sonya is definitely not going to work. Another strip. Back to the Angela, okay? I think that LessDeadlySin has a way better matchup on this. Because if you ban that Gianna, I think that's... Or no, wait, you have to ban that Angela's. No, I think in this case you have way more damage. You can actually deal with that Angela in this case because of the Gideon. Or the Xing zhe. I think he has to ban out the Gianna. On the side, you probably have to... Ooh, we're going to go for a ban on the Pheromos. That makes the ban on the Gianna the best. I think that LessDeadlySin has a pretty solid draft of this. Also going for defense lead. Interesting. So we're definitely aiming all the damage on this Gideon, so the Gideon can take care of the Angela's shields and stuff. Hide the lead pick, maybe. Yeah, maybe I should do that. But in this case, there was not too much to show on it in the first place, I guess. Moonlight Glaze. Okay, explain the Vero pick. Vero pick was a counter to the Gianna. That was the main thing. Because the bombs would not be utilized and the death breaks. Because the only way that Malignant can get good damage is most likely by a death break. And the death breaks would have been cleansed by the Pheromos as well. But yeah, this is way too little strips for the side of Malignant right now. Nyx is also seated in an awkward position right here. Well, the death break from a Xing zhe is the only thing that you kind of extend. No, Nyx doesn't have that much value in this whole draft, I would say. Sure, it can increase cool times, but still kind of hard. How much damage is this? 15k, no death break? That's massive. But then again, Switch of Destiny, good timing. Can you take out this Gideon, though? Still defense buff. What a beer OP, yeah. I should be drafting this unit more often as well. I notice it's pretty strong against Valeska players. Because of the damage reduction and the good damage that you can provide yourself. Plus he provides defense buff, which is nice for Gojos. Do we have S2 available on this? Not just yet, though. Ooh, well, that stun will be cleansed off. Doesn't add that much value. Okay. Do we have enough damage to kill this thing right now? That is the big question. Do we have an S2? Not just an S1? Nowhere near enough damage. But since it's a def... Oh, this damage is massive! 11k per S1? Wow. And that's also going to be a massive heal right there. Yep, great heal. Next turn will be the Wish of Immortality again. Big question is, can you death break this right now? Increases cool time, gets stunned in the process, which cannot be cleansed off. Wall blow, not that much damage. Yeah, we're gonna go into... Ooh, that's a strong additional turn right there. That's some good healing towards that Pater. Well, we're looking pretty low on the HP for this Gideon right now. Because this Gideon... Oh, this Gideon additional turns is hurting so much. But Gideon is getting lower on HP also by hitting those shields every time. Additional turn right there, but the stun. Woosa has to do a... Ooh, that additional turn on the Woosa goes into Mountain of Power, which is a lot of healing on this Gideon. Gideon's gonna win this. Yeah, now there's way too little damage. Sure, Viva Chill on Death Break could maybe do a thing, but if there's already death buff, it's gonna be way too hard. Plus, the damage of Gideon is not lowered. Oh, okay, good timing for that. Good timing for that. Switch of Destiny, did not know they was up. Ooh, that's actually... Ooh, that might be the comeback. Switch of Destiny, good timing for that FIFA Chow. Randomly happened. Most of the time, FIFA Chow doesn't get that angle that much. But Gideon being gone might actually be a good turnaround right there. We can proc back into the S3. Good proc, yeah, well, we have a lot of procs flying back and forth right now. Okay, damage is gonna go up, which also makes the payder, if it comes back later, not as strong. Damn, so many freaking additional turns are flying back and forth. I'm not sure how much damage this monkey's having. Not bad damage on that Vanessa right there, though. Wait, that is a revenge on that Angela. Monkey wins? I'm not sure, though. Monkey sure has potential to win, but in the late game, Monkey's gonna do a lot of damage, but same for the FIFA Chow. FIFA Chow damage is not that bad as well. Rocking a lot back and forth. Oh, that is Sleeperino. That is Sleeperino, but we do have the Vanessa passive up back already. That's also a lot of additional turns currently seated at the side of the bottom side, but then again, we're kind of even on Vios, I would say. But on these despairs are also nasty. No, okay, the Vio rate on Malignant is maybe a little bit higher. We're oh, that was resisted, actually. There was another Woosa sleep. But if you kill right now, you do fight the passive once again. The Vanessa passive is available. 60 up, 60 down. This is the moment where everything starts to hurt a lot. Is that another Wish for Immortality? That is. What the fuck are you watching? People rocking back and forth are we watching? That's what we're watching. Ooh, very close. It did increase cooltime. If he actually killed on that, Vanessa would have not had a passive. Is this gonna kill? That additional turn? Yep, that's gonna kill. Oh, that's so bad. LessDeadlySin. If he landed, or if he just killed with that, he would have had his shot, but now it's over. GG, Angela. Yeah, Angela was strong. Angela was very, very strong in this once again. Yeah, this is the moment where even the FIFA Chow is gonna start doing a lot of damage. Yeah, that was a lot of RNG riding back and forth. Holy. Instant Noodle against Pacific. I'm not familiar with Pacific at all, but he made it to a 4-1 bracket, which is definitely not strong. Ooh, could be that he's also playing this Xing zhe playstyle. Xing zhe Woosa plus... Well, Xing zhe Woosa in general, it is really strong. Woosa's definitely making a comeback because of Phantom being that strong. I mentioned it a few times already, but even without balanced patches, meta is still kind of rotating based on what's played a lot and then what counters people find. And Woosa is definitely really good against a Phantom in most cases. Megumi, probably Megumi Shio is really common. Yep. Instant Noodle does like to go for Sekhmet. He likes to go for Sekhmet plus Lamila, but I'm not sure if he plays that against this as well. Yep, he does. I know my people. But yeah, Pacific, as mentioned, I don't really know this guy. So I'm not too sure what he would play on this. I could still see him go for a Woosa, but Woosa into Sekhmet is maybe not the greatest. Okay, also Gideon player. Gideon is definitely not bad. Ooh, we go for a Tableau plus a Chung Pung. Nice style on the side of Instant Noodle right there. Tableau plus Gojo is definitely really strong. Issue is that enemy side is already showcasing 1 outspeed. Abellio for the counter. Definitely strong right there. I was too late on the pick right there. Okay, Bans came in pretty fast. In that case, big question is, I think my Gojo would in general outspeed a Shiho, but I'm not sure about his Gojo. No, wait, his Gojo still Despair, right? Well, his Segment would definitely outspeed, so Segment. Segment, you have to do it. Segment, you have to do it. We believe in the Segment. Segment does connect, okay. Could be stunned, but that doesn't matter because Gojo's gonna go for his rotation anyways. Does miss on the Gideon. That's pretty bad though. Gideon on a branding and a provoke would have been a nice side right there. But now you can go for the Taulo S3. Only thing is that the stun of the Segment will outspeed the Gojo, so that doesn't add that much value. Wait, if you S3 right now, would you trigger Abellio? Okay, you didn't want to trigger the Abellio because this S2... Wait, I'm not too sure if you did enough damage to full stack this. I don't think you full stacked it just yet. Is it enough damage? No, it's not enough damage, Gideon. Gideon too strong. Gideon too strong. The freaking damage reduction right there. Ooh, good stuns, good stuns. We have that coming in. You do have S2 available, S3 not yet, I think. Yep, some heal blocks. Actually, some heal blocks wrong element. There's a lot of wrong element right there. Threat stays still there. Do we have some Talo action? Not that much as of yet. Gideon, with the death break in there, not hitting that much. Segment does have skills available right now in the S3. No, not yet. Thought it already had skills. Now that Randall is still flying in. Did not strip as much. At least the shield is still on the Gideon. I think Taulo's already back on S2 and S3. Still goes for S1, wants to get the death break in. Did not get it though. Resets. Good reset, good pushback. Lamila should also be getting her skills back pretty soon. I think she's back at the S3 already. Do we attempt to stun? We do attempt to stun. Got resisted though. Yep, S3, round of knights. Yep, without the death buff, it's not that much damage. Lucky 7, what numbers are we throwing? 1 and 3, not that much. S2 is the potential kill for this monkey right now. Just an S1, not that much. I think an S2 would have killed because of the add damage. But I'm pretty sure we're back at Lamila S2 as well. And Lamila S2, especially if you take out one unit right now. Okay, it doesn't take it out just yet, but on branding, this will do. Yep, good damage, good damage. Lamila is definitely very strong. Absolutely. Double ones. Strong draft from Instant Noodle. Very, very strong draft right there. How would Diana do against those Gideon teams? Not bad, not bad. I think that Diana would definitely do good. But this is also the case, we would see more of a ban on probably the Gojo. And I'm curious to see how Instant Noodle will fare without his Gojo. Also, it's getting dark outside. Let me turn on some lights. Okay, what are we looking for pre-bans? Definitely taking our time on the pre-bans. Let's see if Massive... Well, it's actually interesting to see that the, I would say, lower ranked players by current and previous ranking are actually doing very well on the playstyle of Woosas, Gideons, Xing zhes, all of that kind of stuff. Really dark. It's not really dark outside, but it's getting dark, and then within the room, it's looking very dark right away. We just 6 qualifiers for this. We shall see, man. We shall see. There's still, after this, still 3 rounds to go. Seimei on the ban. Interesting. But also a Hey Gang ban? Huh. I don't think Instant Noodle plays that much on Hey Gang. Seimei ban makes a lot of sense because it's a great unit against Lamila. Okay. Instant pick on the Shiho. Or I need not the Shiho, the Xing zhe. The Wind Monkey. This segment playstyle is definitely a good counter to the Woosas, which I'm pretty sure Macific would normally play more Woosa style. Could definitely go back to his... Ooh, okay, mixing it up. Ammo, this is you. When you say you play like a pouring comp, this is you. Irene Ella, okay. Not sure if Irene Ella works that good if you get that heavily outsped, because I could once again see a Tableau in the 5th. Maxific has to go for some more speed contesting. Otherwise, I think he's going to get steamrolled. Or he has to go very nasty passes right now. Juno. Okay, he's at a ban angle on a Lamila. I'm not sure if that even works that well. Misty, I don't think... No, I don't like those. Yeah, Instant Noodle was as confident with not liking those drafts as I was. That's just like Lamila ban, sure, Tableau lock in fast. Yeah, I don't like those 4 and 5s that much from Maxific right now. I think the segment was really denying his normal style of Woosa play. And Woosa, the moment you reset Woosa, Woosa's cooldowns are way too long to work with. Also, this Irene is not taking turns for days. Big question is, do you do enough damage to the Juno and to the... Oh, yeah, that's also true. You can go for an S2, S3 rotation with full death break landed in. Okay, counter, rather counter from you than counter from the Juno. Also, a lot of heal blocks did land. Can you push back Juno? Good pushbacks on the Juno, yep. Damn, strong style once again from Instant Noodle. Very strong style. How many matches left after this? After this, still 3 more. This is round 6, so it should be 3 more. Oh, that's a rough one, man. I would have liked to see both of them make it in. But that one caught my eye right away. Okay, Zeal, boys. Zeal. Laura ban and the next ban. Oh, man. On the side of Typhoon, you have to be banning so many things, man. Typhoon has such a stacked box here at the moment. Zeal, yep. I'm a notable block watcher on that one, yeah. No, next Typhoon should be out of RNG right there. We shall see, man. Venton on the side of Typhoon. No, the matchup are just by the system. Like, the system automatically puts the matchups in there. Based on, like, people having the same amount of wins and loses. So you're always placed against someone on equal wins and loses as yourself. I'm going to Shio. Do you go Shio plus... Or he goes for Xing zhe, but does he go Shio plus Xing zhe? Is an option, but then again, you know Neff speed. Neff speed, crazy. Tian Langer, okay. Tian Langer is decent value, but not the greatest. Going into the Okeanos. Still strong pick out there. Would you like to add in like NFL? I kind of like an NFL in this style. Well, you don't know the 4 and 5 yet, but NFL's just good all round. Bayek, okay. Probably adds... Ooh, Zenizek. Zenizek is a nasty pick right there. But then again, it does not add... Well, Typhoon's draft has a little bit of everything. Is Zenizek the right answer? I could see an NFL on the side of Typhoon as well. Okay, finishing up with the Megumi. Takes it away. Puts it back up. Ooh, Pajana. I like the Pajana more. Woosa for final pick. I love that Woosa final pick. Woosa in the final pick, very great pick by Neff over there. That's pretty much a must ban. That is pretty much must ban right there. But let's see if he makes it work. We saw Neff's bomb not do enough damage against Ismo before on the Phantom. Yep, expected those bans on the Woosa and the Pajana. Big question is, can this Sierra take out the Phantom in one rotation? If he takes out the Phantom in one rotation, I give Neff good chances. Otherwise, I think that the matchup from... can he take that? Yep, takes that. Does get stunned in the process, though. Tian Lang, how much is this Tian Lang value? Tian Lang is no value right there. Cleanse the back up. Ooh, super early armor break into the near insta-killer. Ow. Ow. That is so much damage coming in there. 60k HP was gone in a second. What do you mean 60k HP? Ooh, can you kill this? Ooh, takes it out as well. Neff has a great start on this one. Okay. No, I don't see Tian Lang Monkey take this over. No way. No way. These units don't have enough damage. Ain't no way. Tian Lang did not have a good performance on his S2. If Tian Lang had a good performance on his S2 early on, I could have seen a world where it's could have been very different. But this Bayek landing his death break on the first hit, insta-clapping that Phantom right there was just GG. But also Yeon Hong landing S2, it's such a tricky thing to do, but it's definitely the right thing to do in a lot of cases. If it does land, it's insta-winning, but it's also one of those, like, it is not that high on the activation rate. I don't even know what's the exact chance, including resistance checks, to land your S2 on the Yeon Hong. Does anyone know the exact number to that? I think it's kind of low. I think just above 50% or so. Maybe 60-ish. Well, in this case, we have Yeon Hong ban and Tian Lang ban. Phantom on the side of Neff this time around. Megumi plus Laura. Yep. Neff, what kind of speed list do you so please? Back to the Sierra. Could be a thing. You don't have your Yeon Hong to outspeed this time, though. Not sure what other units you have for outspeeding. Sierra could go to a Shiho, who goes to Nyx. Okay, Pheromones is not the craziest of values into a Sierra, but it's not a bad pick. Same for Juno. Ragdoll, would I rather see 2 supports? I'd rather see 2 supports on the side of Neff. Or is that doable? Like, if you go for anything along the lines of like a Misty plus a Chow, Ragdoll Chow, that's nasty as well. Yeah, I think Wind Pudding, I was thinking double support as well, like Chow plus Pudding, or Chow plus a Misty. I think Pudding would have been better than the Misty, I agree. But the Chow is definitely good in here. Ragdoll will enable your team to move right after that Laura, but big issue might be Abellio last. I think Abellio would go for the ban. Because that's the only sustain on the right side. Well, you have Juno sustain, but it's a little bit less. I think Abellio Chow for ban it has to be. I really wonder if the Ragdoll has enough value in this. I feel like that the Ragdoll is a little bit misplaced because you don't have sustain. Because you could have had sustain versus no sustain. And then it's better to go for sustain rather than your Ragdoll taking a turn. Plus against Laura, even if you push up your Nyx to take a move after the Laura, you have 3 buffs on legit everything. The odds of your Nyx actually landing through that shit is very low. Pharaoh is sustain. Yeah, true. Well, Juno and Pharaoh are technically sustained, but they would be hard sustained or out-sustained by that. Yeah, this is kind of the position. I don't like this Rectal pick. This Rectal pick is kind of bad. Because you're not using your skills right now because it's just awkward to use your skills. Which is just bad. Ooh, that a big resistance though. But you have to drop this on the Pharaoh. It does connect on the Pharaoh. You have to let it explode right away. Otherwise the bomb is gone. Ooh, that accounted is Person. Rip. Rip. Yeah, Ragdoll ain't gonna do it from here. Nick's passive also not kicking in. Ooh, trying to get a stun on that. Okay. Ooh, good Despair Stun over there. Does have the S2. Ragdoll might take turn. Ragdoll will take turn. Will take out the Varamos. It is close though. That crit though. That crit made the Ragdoll take the turn. Oh, but this Juno's nasty. I think you have issues with the Juno late. Okay. Does he have S2 already? Yep, does have. Will push up the Megumi to enough. Issue is, can you actually kill this Juno properly? Ooh, the additional turn, but don't have bomb, right? Or do you have bomb? Oh, if you have bomb up right there, match would have kind of flipped. The Ragdoll of Neff has good damage though, so I could still see Neff winning this. It's just the Juno that's kind of difficult to kill in the last round. There's 2-turn silence on the Laura though, but Laura could still do Laura things. You're calling Ragdoll ignore defense? That is true though, that is definitely true. No, Neff should have this, Neff should have this. His Ragdoll does more than enough damage. Yep, the Ragdoll is somewhat on the squishy side, but that's also the dangerous thing. If this Ragdoll torrents at the right moment, that is death. Also, 3-turn dot on an S1. 3-turn dot on an S1 from Dragonite is actually kind of strong. Okay. Yeah, 3 against 1, ain't no way. Does he just send the torrent right now? Okay, he does it. Doesn't full kill. I think it's the right move, because if you were Despair Stunned, yeah, yep. Missed the silence. Oh, we did land the silence. But I don't think it's healing enough. Good choice on sending the torrent. The torrent sending was actually smart. Yep. Well played by Neff. I think Neff is in with that double 2-0. Ooh, rank 7. Ares wins this. He might still take a spot. Ooh, it's a difficult matchup though. Not sure if Peter has skills available. I could still see topside winning. That's the lowest damage output I've ever seen from a Shiho, to be honest. Maybe it's minus water, could be a thing. Would actually kind of make sense to put minus water on a Viva. Can you update your playlist regarding dungeon teams? I would recommend to just check it over here. That's where I have all of my guides located in one place at the moment. That's the moment where Monkey is vulnerable. Big question is Gianna skill 2 and skill 3 available? Despair Stuns? No Despair Stuns. Bomb available. Critical arrow available. Resisted. Resisted, but he sleeps it. He sleeps it. The sleeper, you know. Gianna cannot do it, but freaking Vivacho can. Wait, if he procs this, would you start cleansing the other? Nope. Gianna bomb though, is it enough? Yeah, you have an S1 in, so it's definitely enough. But then again, Juno plus... I can see Juno win this. I can still Juno win this. Provoke on the Juno? Oh, lucky he did not get the provoke on the Juno. I think that there's some damage on this Vanessa, and therefore the Vanessa will die to this Juno relatively fast. Yep. 2.4k hits, not bad. You have to keep the... I think you should keep him in this form to heal up the Vanessa, to try to get your S3 back. No, this Juno's gonna take it. Okay, brings back the FIFA. I think that the Juno will still lap. And now he just skill again. Yep, Juno's so strong, man. Provoke on Juno would buff the Juno. Well, that's what I was aiming for, to buff the Juno to give Juno a chance to win. That's exactly what I was aiming for. But the Juno's winning regardless. Juno's super strong in current meta. Absolutely. But I'm definitely more of a fan of a Fam Juno than a Despair Juno. Ooh. Ares actually winning one match puts him on 14 as well. That puts him on 14. If he wins this match, he might knock someone else out that is on 14. Woosa and Juno returning. Definitely Woosa. Woosa is definitely a comeback unit. Without a balance patch, still just slowly sliding into the meta. Shield ban, Viva Chill ban. Magoomer on the right side. I'm not sure why Malignant is that strong on a Vanessa playstyle. I don't think Vanessa playstyles that much. Holy Ares, calm down on those units. What? What is even that? You just smacking Seimei, Angela, and 2 and 3? Yeah. What is even that, brother? What is even that? What? It's like, I don't want to die. Like, I ain't gonna die. Whatever you bring on your monkey and whatever, I'm not gonna die. That completely nullifies Gianna value. You might start thinking about, yeah, Gianna's bad, man. That ain't gonna do anything. That was the worst position Gianna I've seen in a long time. You just Juno Veramos this, right? From this point on, definitely Juno. Nobara, yeah, Nobara, Juno, you're done. Nobara, Juno, you're done. You can auto. Reno, no, you don't want a Reno. Juno would be a really good position right now. What? What? You go from full passive into Asima last pick? What kind of insane draft is this? What is that Asima last pick? I'm not understanding. Well, I think this... Well, let me just do this for the sake of it. Seimei revive? Makes sense, I guess. Makes sense. Yeah, true. No, actually, Loki, yeah. Loki could be a Seimei revive angle, yeah. But we have the Nobara in down. He goes for HP lead. He drops the El Nasty. He drops them El Nasties. Holy shit, what a draft, man. Actually, the Asima is respected. And it's banned out. The Gianna is so misplaced. Greg is also so misplaced. Like, you're killing your own team more than you're killing the enemy. What the hell are you doing? Miss. Yep, GG. You're not dealing any damage anymore. Even a bomb Gianna on attack buff, man, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Even if you kill the Megumi, like, killing Megumi does nothing for you. Okay, additional turn. You're just healing the Megumi, man. He's like, sure, man, I'll take that. I'll take that. Rank 7, I think you might drop a little bit lower still, Instant Noodle. Yeah, that bomb ain't cutting it. You could potentially kill on an S2 into... Okay. Yeah, no, the healing just came in as well with the cleanses. Okay. Well, even if you kill the Megumi, like, who cares? It doesn't change that much. You still have to fight the Nobara, you have no healing. Oh, they dropped a nasty draft right there. Yep, now we go for some pin nails. They landed on the monkey, that's the important target. Well, it would have been nice if you land on the Greg as well, because he also has an S1 debuff. Also, just the Angela shield is starting to kill your own team. Jogan plus ignore defense would have been better. Yeah, definitely. Would have been a lot of things better than Gianna over here. Issue is, however, that no debuff was landed in the process. I'm also still not a big fan of this thing on Vio because you revive and then what? We even have S2 up? Do have S2 up, okay. A little bit of stun value. Okay, we do get the additional turns on the side of Malignant right now. Is it really adding that much? That's also a nasty HP. If that was 6k damage and it's still looking at that much HP, that is insane. Okay, Greg is trying to survive. Attack buff. Ooh, it's doing good damage. Maybe the Greg can do it. Oh, he's missing everything on the Nobara. He's missing everything on the Nobara. Nobara not getting debuffs, though. The additional turn back. Doesn't have the S2 as of yet, though. The Greg actually stealing the HP from the others might be a winning factor. But Nobara not taking any debuffs, otherwise the whole unit would be at, or like his whole lineup would have been in a 1 HP already. Okay, not sure if that is the right play. If that Nobara would have procced on that, you would have been super dead. Oh, the provoke though. Provoke is actually strong, but if Nobara gets 1 proc right now, it's over. Oh, no proc. Everything 1 HP. Okay, he's gonna try to take it out with an S2. Oh, you name it. That is so dangerous, mate. He's gonna go for an S2 right now, right? Yep. No, wait. Monkey will kill. Monkey will kill. Wait, unless you have S2. Wait, is that a proc into S2? Ooh! What? You can just kill! No way! No way! I always bitch so much on Seimei on Vio, but the Seimei Vio moment next to Nobara, never mind. Never mind. Seimei on Vio, greatest thing in the game. I cannot bitch on that anymore. That was insane. Well, still, Dispersed would have done good as well, but that was actually insane. Wow. Duh, what a match was that. So that means that these are the 6 to be playing for the Summoners War European League starting on the 18th of February. 18th of February on 8 p.m. European time. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching today. Also want to thank all of the players for participating. And of course, Countess for organizing all of this kind of good stuff. And I want to thank you guys in particular for watching the stream for today. I'll be heading off because I've been yapping for a good 4 hours. But I definitely had a lot of fun with this whole stream. Like, watching this tournament, seeing all of the rankings go back and forth, because in the end, we had some people coming from pretty lower end ranks, making it all the way to top 6 in the end, which was, yeah, that was cool to see. Also, for the people that did not make it, current season and next season is most likely the season to qualify for SWC, so hope to see y'all there. Guys, thanks a lot for watching.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.